Off, right? 2019 was
Great
massive
news for
hit.
me. I mean, I'm someone who's firstly, I've realized I'm so bad at taking compliments because I feel so awkward. Stop it now, everybody. But it's quite scary because now I think there's an expectation. And all I'm now trying to do is not take that pressure. Then receiving compliments and, acknowledging it, I'm just like, don't let it get to you. Don't, it's back to square one.
Confidence in terms of comfort, in terms of security. I mean, I would imagine that it provides all of that, right?
Yeah, it motivates you.
Sure.
I was less insecure earlier because I felt like I had nothing to lose.
Right.
So I felt like everything was a bonus. And no, why are you thinking like that? Like you never used to think like that.
Right.
That's what got you here. So be that person. So literally, my focus is on being that person. I don't know if I'm enjoying it as much as everyone's like, but why are you not just partying and enjoying your, that success? But I feel like that is not me. I'm someone who's very process-oriented, enjoying the fact that I get to do this and I don't want to stop doing it.
Sure.
Like before this day.
Correct.
Because in the last 5 years, I must have had about 5 to 7 films.
Right.
So in 1 year, 2019, those 2 films which came out, but it was also the year I shot for all the films. So that was so exciting. So the entire year, there's so much more which now you'll see. Yeah. It does.
Because Kabir Singh, it's so
correct. Thank God. But no, it definitely does. I think the kind of opportunities also the honor work with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I guess I'm able to lend something. I'm able to give something to this film or to this character, and that's something that's the best feeling. So that gives you that motivation and confidence for sure.
Last year.
The number of selfies I get, like it's, there are great moments and then there are some scary moments. I think everything has changed. Every single thing has changed, from my timings, double shifts, lack of sleep, and I'm not complaining because I'm so grateful for it that I'm enjoying every time I'm about to slip, I'm like, value this because there's someone out there who's deserving and waiting for this opportunity. You got it, so now you better value it and live up to it. In a way, yes. And now I'm like, I better be careful what I say because a holiday here and there would be great. I'm like, why else are you working so hard? But this year I'm actually really happy it's starting with a film like Guilty. It's starting with on a platform that gave me lust. It's a role that has probably been the most liberating role to portray as an actor on screen. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm just waiting. And I know, on Netflix, it's not that urgent because yesterday someone asked me in an interview, so it must be less stressful considering you don't have that. But I'm like, I am as nervous as I am for this as I am for any other, because for me, it's all about, will people like it? Will they accept it? Will they, how? Because it's always been the critics. I read your reviews, all of that. So I'm as much a bundle of nerves for this as much as I was for any other round. Right. So the narrative is very interesting because you see it from the point of view of this girlfriend. But I think of course from the trailer there's only this much but in the film there's so many more important things that are touched upon. Whether be it privilege, be it the sensitive topic of rape that it is, the way society deals with it, the way women judge women. And all of this is said in such a subtle way without that, even like there's no preachiness, so I'm not telling you what I want to tell you. It's just the situation and then you take whatever you want from it. And that's what I really liked about it. Also, it's a character, yes, you see Nanki, everyone's seen whoever has seen the trailer. There's a reason. Why is the hair white? There's a part of the film that it's red. So why does she change it? What is with this girl? And that whole look is actually her armor. That's her mask, and that's something that she's using to project this image of this powerful, confident girl. But she's fragile, underconfident, insecure, and all these other flaws that excite me. She's a character who's been through a certain experience in life that I haven't, nor have I been exposed to. Maybe I've read it in the news, I've seen it in certain, headlines. It's the amount that I know of certain incidents with people, whether it's a Nirbhaya case or several other cases like that. But I've never had a first-hand experience. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've had a very sheltered upbringing, because anyone who knows me knows I'm not even like that person or that character. So Atul Mongia, who I have to really give so much credit to, because he sat with me and he, Ruchi and myself, we prepped extensively for this role and this part. And through that process, he realized that I need to meet people who've been through it. To be empathetic, you know, when you read is one thing, because it comes when you read, when we want justice for these girls and this and that. But to actually meet someone and understand what she has been through and felt is another experience. So he did introduce me to someone because he felt that research, that was extremely essential for me to understand. And I mean, you know, I like when the Me Too movement broke out.
Yeah.
I asked her, why didn't you speak up? Or when was, I asked the first question, I said, when was the first time you told someone? How did you tell someone? Say it out loud, it becomes your reality. And the minute it becomes your reality, you realize that no amount of justice, no whatever you do to that asshole, nothing can change the fact that this has happened. It can't erase that. And it's always a part of who I am. And she said when the, you know, I mean, when the Me Too movement came out, it takes a lot of courage for someone to come out and accept this or, you know, give you their story, because it just, and I just felt that I have to do this with that integrity. I don't know, I think I had to go that deep.
Right.
And think the unthinkable, because you, even though, you know, you'll still, like even for an actor, to think of something like this that's happening, you will protect yourself, you need to go there and think of that brutal reality to make it believable on screen. So all these things kind of were necessary for me to understand and to, you know, be a part of this film and play this character. And it's just been, that's why I said, it's just been, I mean, it's a role and a film that I'm just so proud of.
Yeah.
That I'm waiting for people to see it.
You know, makers who spoke about people within the industry.
I feel everyone today just wants to be politically correct. I think the climate, everything is so sensitive that anything you say, you're constantly thinking, I hope this doesn't turn into a controversy. You know, there's so much pressure on all of that, that we're just trying to do the right thing and, you know, say the right things half the time. So the conversation is happening, but we're not there yet. And you're right, we're actually all guilty of that, because none of us are there yet. We're just
you know, fronting the film, so we're chatting with you.
Slightly. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. But I also feel now, I feel like, what can I do? Okay, I made a film like Guilty. What else can I do to lend? What is the ultimate goal? What does someone want out of this? What do we, even if I'll stand with you.
Sure.
I am with you. I don't need to put a tweet about it. What is it? I feel more hypocritical when I feel like, but why do I have to tweet to say this is what I feel or what I mean? So I am not going to tweet at that time because it's trending.
Right.
I will find a different avenue to see how I can lend to it when I feel that I'm at a position that you will even hear me.
Right.
Who is even going to listen to me? I used to think like that. I'm like, but who's but there has to be a way in which we do it. There has to be a, you know, something that's not as frivolous as Twitter.
Right.
It can't be, that's not, how does that become the, you know, prepping for this, since I did meet a few, I think every survivor did feel like that, except there were also moments when some, you know, the misuse of it or whatever, which kind of threw them off, and they're like, you know, forget it now. Because suddenly, see, then it becomes Bollywoodized.
Right.
It becomes only about, you know, unfortunately the spotlight always comes here.
Kabir Singh.
Yeah.
Which sort of
well aware that this, you know, conversation would also, that opinion would be there.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the extent that it went out to become. And that's also because the amount of people who saw it was so many more. But we did, and this was actually because this was just before Kabir Singh released and before the views came out. In one of these exercises, he kind of took out, you know, he was trying to get to the core of and take out some subconscious thoughts inside me and things that I've been tucking away for a while. And in my life, because I felt like people are going to be like, bullshit, like, come on, I've had worse things.
Right.
But it's like what I was telling Sajid, I'm like, it's not a competition. And Atul told me, he said, well, you want to, and it's okay. So when it happened, when Kabir Singh came out, films. But
Yeah.
as an actor, I took up this character and I played this character because that was her reality.
Sure.
So we made a film which was a love story, which was about these two characters who, I mean, they are. Yes, the slap in the interval became somehow when the conversation was taken,
Correct.
which is great. And whoever has even all the
Yeah.
conversation, it's wonderful. I mean, I think it was important that we had that conversation. On the money, the box office
Yeah.
has, I mean, people and the love that the
Yeah.
audience has had for it. They have. It's become this iconic love story. In Arjun Reddy, so they knew the film that I was making, and it's the same film.
Right.
So I think they were in the celebratory mood.
Okay.
I think they're still in the parents. So their bias is different. I feel that'll always be. Bombay has
Yeah.
that, everyone watches English films and there's films.
Correct.
And I would watch all the Hindi films. And I was so shy to tell them that I'm watching. So everything I was doing in my room, in front of the mirror, and my brother would see it and my parents would see it. And for the longest time, I was so shy to even take part in a school play. It was literally, and I was like, how can I want to be an actress and not even be in my school play list?
Yeah.
Eventually I did. And then it's so funny because when I came into the industry, I was so scared. I never wanted people to know that I'm from South Mumbai because I felt like they would instantly judge me and then think that isko Hindi nahi aati. And they don't know that I'm this filmy kida who's been dying to do this since I was born.
Right.
So I was leading a dual life since I was a child. With my friends, I didn't want them to know I balanced.
Was that hard?
I knew I had to do it, so it never felt hard. So now it's Kiara, Alia Advani. It's very normal. I mean, it must be a bit strange for my parents. Even they are quite used to it. Like in public, they will say Kiara. And sometimes I'm like, when my friends say Alia, I'm like a bit thrown off. But I'm like, I can't so used to it that it doesn't feel weird.
But in 2014?
That there's been the successful 2019. Because I feel like, so when Fugly happened, there was an expectation which may be very immature now when I look back, because when you don't know, you feel like your first film is the hardest thing to do and thereafter films just fall in. And then you realize that it's Friday to Friday and that's really not how it works. And no matter whether it's a successful film or a non-successful film, every day is as challenging. And that's when I felt that for me, what was really giving me true happiness was, is it all the people, like when Kabir Singh has this love and this success? I think these people who have to act with the director and just creating this.
Right.
And I feel like if one day I woke up and I didn't have that journey and I couldn't make this and I couldn't be working in this industry and doing this, would I really be a happy person? And I wouldn't. And I felt I don't want to have expectations. I'm not someone who has any expectations.
Correct.
I'm like, I don't expect anything. People must have expectations.
Right.
I'm sure. Doing my job with blinders and then going on to the next thing. That's why even when Kabir Singh had all that, it didn't affect me so much because I wasn't holding on to that. Yes, I value it to, I will not even be able to explain to you how much since I have seen both sides. But since I've seen both sides, I do know how fickle it can be.
Yeah.
And I do know how, things can change. So I don't want to be living in a bubble that this, there may be somebody else who's 2020 or 21 maybe amazing, and then again it changes and again. But I want to be some process, and wherever this journey takes me, I'm waiting to see myself.